So you're telling me that I should believe you, but I shouldn't believe when the Speaker of the House is up there telling me that you guys want to give free healthcare to illegal immigrants.
I'm telling you that you should believe the facts. If you go on Google and you type in the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act of 1996, okay, you could read legislation that was passed by both chambers of Congress and signed into law that strictly limits and prevents, right, non-residents and non-citizens from accessing federal forms of welfare benefits, including but not limited to healthcare of the likes of Medicaid or Medicare. Okay, I'm not telling you to believe me over him. I'm telling you to believe the facts over fiction.
So, I mean, I support Trump. I mean, he's all for crypto. I'm all for crypto. He's going to pump the share of the stock market, pump the share of the crypto market. He gave all of us an opportunity to buy in to stocks and crypto. Like, he put it all on sale for us to buy. And the Democrats complained about it.
Are you?
I mean, look, you guys have the government shut down. You guys have the government shut down because you guys have, like, a bunch of bullshit. Like, you guys want to pass a bunch of trash.
Oh, yeah.
Like, $200 billion for immigrants to get healthcare is a joke.
Oh, yeah.
That is a joke.
So, do you know what the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is?
I do not.
Of course you don't, because you're fucking uneducated, Victor. Usually, for whatever reason, the most uneducated people have the biggest feelings in American politics. But to tell you...
The most educated people are the most indoctrinated people. That's why you guys are all Democrats.
So you think that the most educated people are Democrats?
That is true. The most educated people are Democrats.
Dude.
You guys are all indoctrinated. Keep laughing. It's the truth.
Wait, indoctrinated?
You guys are all indoctrinated.
Indoctrinated into facts, reason, and logic?
No, indoctrinated into the school system's bullshit.
Dude, the school system's bullshit. Okay. Let me tell you something I learned in school, and then I want you to critique it. So last week, okay, I was sitting down in my big liberal class, okay, at CU Boulder. That's right. One of the most liberal campuses on America, okay? Democratic stronghold, okay? And the professor looked at me and he told me, right, that Donald Trump is an unprecedented threat to the American democracy and the American Constitution, and he argued that it's because Donald Trump doesn't care about the Constitution and wants to be a all-powerful leader that rewrites the rules compared to a president that plays by him. Okay, and the evidence that the professor gave me was damning. Okay, and this is the evidence that I want you to dispute. He brought up the fact, right, that in December of 2022, Donald Trump went on Truth Social, and he said, well, we should terminate all the rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. Real quote, by the way. And then on day one, he passed Executive Order number 14160 that infringed on the 14th Amendment, attempted to take birthright citizenship away from the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil, even though they've had that right since 1868. Or, like a month ago, when he said that, quote unquote, we're taking your free speech away, when he tried to ban the burning of the American flag, even though the Supreme Court ruled that was protected under symbolic speech per the First Amendment in the 1980s, or when he was saying that there's ways he could run for a third term. That is an express attack on the 22nd Amendment, considering the fact that the 22nd Amendment says any president can only serve 2 terms, or when he was like declaring war on American cities. Once again, that's what he said, and he sent the National Guard to cities like Memphis, Chicago, Portland, so on and so forth. And then we had multiple federal judges rule that this was illegal because he was doing so without sufficient reason, therefore being in violation of the 10th Amendment. And like, he was on Air Force One last week, and he said, well, if he wanted to, he could declare an insurrection, right? Unlike the insurrection that he caused in the Capitol on J6, but I digress, that he could declare an insurrection, and he could send the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard, and so on and so forth into American cities, and nobody could stop him, including the courts. Like, don't you think that this would amount, right, to like a wannabe authoritarian?
I don't think so at all.
Because I'm indoctrinated and you're the reasonable smart one, okay? You're the one that knows the real facts. Go ahead and dispute my fake facts by giving me the real facts. I can
see reality. I mean, I can see reality. I mean, what I would say is you guys using the Civil Rights Act for the whole trans, stuff, and then pushing the whole trans narrative in children's classrooms, in children's class. You're gonna let me speak?
No, because I'm laughing so hard. Brother, I just gave you an argument that Donald Trump is a threat to the American democracy and the Constitution, right? And I brought up how he's launched an attack on the First Amendment, launched an attack on the 14th Amendment, the 10th Amendment, and the 22nd Amendment, and then you're like, oh, Dean, you're so wrong and indoctrinated.
I mean, because it's common sense.
And then your counter argument is like bringing up trans people?
No, because you're trying to say that what he's doing is a joke. I mean, You're saying he's breaking all these amendments, but it's common sense that he has to. I mean, we have mass immigration. Obviously, he needs to send the National Guard into those cities. That makes 100% sense. Yes.
How is the National Guard combating quote unquote mass immigration in these cities?
Because you're saying that he's sending the troops to the cities, right?
Yeah. And what does it have to do with immigration?
Because he was sending a lot of ICE agents, right?
ICE is not National Guard. Right? You just said because of mass immigration, he's sending the National Guard into these cities.
Oh, my bad. I mean, he's sending the ICE agents. Which that was a big thing that you guys were complaining about.
So then you're definitely not responding to what my argument was.
Okay. No, and I agree that those cities that do have the high violent crimes.
What you just said, by the way, is that it's okay for Donald Trump to infringe on the supreme law of the land, the Constitution. So therefore, right, it's okay for somebody to infringe on a federal misdemeanor crime by entering into America with the use of undocumented means, right? Like obviously, right, the Constitution is more valuable than a federal misdemeanor.
That's illegal crime.
Right. Just like it's illegal for Trump to infringe on the Constitution, but you don't care, so why should I?
So you're saying people should just come in here, just come to America?
Well, I'm saying if you don't care about the president infringing on the Constitution, then why should I care about an immigrant infringing on federal law? It's hypocritical for you to suggest that it's like rules for thee but not for me, right? It's hypocritical for you to suggest that you're like pro law and order in one sense, but then against law and order in another sense. It's hypocritical for you to suggest that we need to absolutely destroy the American economy, and we need to kidnap naked children and force them into the backs of U-Haul vans, reduce our GDP by 1.1 through 1.7 trillion dollars per year. Meanwhile, you don't care that Donald Trump is a 34-count felon, and you don't care that he's infringed on the Constitution 5 times in the last 8 months. That is hypocrisy 101. And let me guess, instead of actually addressing the meat on the bone here, instead of actually responding to the argument that I'm giving you, you're just going to say, but trans people again.
No, I'm not going to say about trans people again. I'm saying that everything he's doing is good for the country. You know,
so then it's good to break the law.
You got a vape or what?
Nope, it's an anxiety pin, buddy. So then you're saying it's good to break the law, right? Because he's broken the law.
Oh man, that's a good discussion. No, it's not okay. It's not okay to break the law.
Okay,
but
so
I mean,
so if it's not good to break the law, then it's not true that everything that Donald Trump is doing is good for the country. Considering a lot of the things that he's done have been illegal, right? Like for the most part, the constitutional infringements that I just like listed.
Yeah, I understand, but you got to understand when the Constitution was written, it was a completely different time. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you guys using the Civil Rights Act for the whole trans thing, right? It makes no sense, but you guys did it, right?
So I was actually right in the sense where I finished an argument there to demonstrate your hypocrisy, and then I was like, so you're actually not going to respond to what I'm saying, and you're just going to go butt trans people, and you did.
No, because
and you did. You did the thing. You did the, oh, Dean, I actually cannot respond to the argument that you just gave me that proves I'm a hypocrite, so I'm just going to talk about trans people.
No, because it just backfires to the argument. You're saying he's doing this, and I give you a valid reason as to why they're a joke.
What? Wait. So you're saying that you think a counter argument to me being able to point out your hypocrisy by saying in one breath that it's actually good for the president to violate the Constitution, yet in another breath,
yes, it is. Yes.
Yet in another breath,
because we're in a completely different time than when the Constitution was written.
Okay,
completely different time. We got mass immigration.
So the Constitution is what? A living, breathing document.
Yes.
Do you think that you have a right to free speech?
I have a right to free speech. I'm in America.
And what gives you that right to free speech, Victor?
The right to free speech.
What gives you that right?
My rights.
Where does that right come from? Why do you have that right in America?
From the Constitution.
Oh, but I thought you just said the Constitution is from a completely different era and you don't really care about it.
I never said that. When did I ever say that?
It's what you
I'm saying
that the Constitution was written so long ago that you think it's like good to infringe on it. So would it be like
I didn't say
take away your freedom of speech?
Whoa. Who's saying all that? I'm saying that you can't.
Is this guy fucking gaslighting me right now?
No, you can't fully go with the
this motherfucker's gaslighting me.
I'm not gaslighting you at all.
You're totally gaslighting me.
I am not gaslighting you whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry that you feel like I'm gaslighting you. Do you feel like you're getting roasted or something, my man?
I feel like you're trying to gaslight me. You're trying to gaslight
I'm not trying to gaslight whatsoever, my man.
Well, then take accountability for the fact that you said that you don't care about the Constitution. You think it's good for the president to infringe.
I never once said that. I just said that.
Yeah, okay, then you are gaslighting.
We're in modern day. No,
you understand that there's people like watching this conversation, right? You understand that there's people
100%, yeah.
that can account for the fact that you did indeed say that you do not care that Donald Trump is infringing on the Constitution. In fact, you think it is quote unquote good.
Yeah, it's good because the Constitution was written. What?
Ah,
What are you slapping the table for, my man?
Continue.
Hit the anxiety pin. You feeling good, my man?
So he's repeating it.
I'm not repeating. I never said what you said. I said that we're in modern days, and there is parts of the Constitution that have to be broken in order to get things done.
Okay, so what parts?
I mean, the parts that you explained.
So which
You
one?
know, the immigrants should
be
not
a
be
little
able
bit-
to come over here and have kids. That's crazy.
Immigrants shouldn't be able to have kids in America? Then Donald Trump wouldn't have been born.
I mean, legal immigrants.
yeah, Donald Trump's mother was an immigrant. You fucking dumbass.
So
Dude.
so are my parents. Both of my parents
So
are
then
immigrants.
you shouldn't have been born?
Legal immigrants.
Oh,
my man.
Undocumented immigrants shouldn't be able to have kids on American soil.
There you go. People should not come over here and just be able to have kids. That's common sense.
Yes, no. Let's. So
I mean, back
would
in
you
the day.
argue-
I mean,
would-
back
would-
in the day.
Wait, would you argue, just to make it clear here? Would you like say that like there should be like free and easy access to abortion all 9 months of pregnancy in all 50 states to like
No.
limit the? Wait, wouldn't that prevent immigrants from having kids?
Wait, what?
Oh! Now there's a conflict. Now there's
That makes no sense. That's saying-
now there's a conflict. Oh, on one hand you have racism, on the other hand you have misogyny. Oh, it's like what happens when the racism and the misogyny start contradicting one another? You're like, man, immigrants shouldn't be able to have kids, right? Okay. Well, I mean, we know when like individuals have access to abortion, right? They're more likely to terminate unwanted pregnancies, therefore less likely to like have children, right? Just because of like the natural propensity. That
Or
their
they
children are gonna
shouldn't
be
come to the
unwanted.
country illegally.
And then, like, on the other hand, you got your misogyny where you're like, women having access to healthcare? No! So, you know, it's like, how do we consolidate? How do we
problem.
figure out this issue? Do you want to be racist and say that
let
immigrants
immigrants
should have kids? Or do you want to be misogynistic and say women should have access to healthcare? Which one?
They shouldn't be here in the first place. That's it.
Okay, so
Common sense, right?
So you support mass deportation?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, well, since you're such like an in tune with reality, common sense guy, I want you to name one specific, clear way that mass deportation materially benefits this country.
I mean, tons of them are getting health care, right?
Undocumented
Yep,
immigrants
getting
don't get
healthcare, so-
healthcare from the federal level. From the federal level, that's not true. It's illegal. The undocumented immigrants can't qualify for federal Medicaid, can't qualify for federal Medicare, but they actually
you're saying-
do pay $100 billion per year in taxes and contribute 1.1 through 1.7 trillion dollars to the GDP.
So you're telling me that the Speaker of the House was lying when he said that $290 billion for healthcare for illegal immigrants. So that guy was lying, right?
Oh, totally. Unless you want to be able to give evidence that he was telling the truth.
So you're telling me that I should believe you, but I shouldn't believe when the Speaker of the House is up there telling me that you guys want to give free healthcare to illegal immigrants, that you guys want to, fund LGBT whole narrative bullshit in other countries. That's a joke, man.
I'm telling you.
You're gonna sit here and try and convince me that that's not a joke?
I'm telling you that you should believe the facts. If you like go on Google and you type in the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act of 1996, okay, you could read legislation that was passed by both chambers of Congress and signed into law that strictly limits and prevents, right, non-residents and non-citizens from accessing federal forms of welfare benefits, including but not limited to healthcare of the likes of Medicaid or Medicare. Okay, I'm not telling you to believe me over him. I'm telling you to believe the facts over fiction.
So yeah, you're saying that you're speaking facts, and he's just up there saying these lies that we're not given.
Yes, and I just gave evidence to prove it.
Where's the evidence at?
The Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act that limits federal welfare benefits from being given to undocumented immigrants.
Because he said the government was shut down 6 votes from the Democrats, right? But the Democrats don't want to approve those votes because they want to give $290 billion towards immigrant health care, and they want to give, it's like millions and millions of dollars for whole, LGBT gender ideology, bullshit. in other countries, and
Yeah, just say LGBTQ plus trans, and like everybody will be scared, right? Is that the goal? Come
no,
on,
it's
bro,
not that
dude,
everybody will be,
like fucking listen to yourself, dude. Okay, look at what I'm saying. I'm like,
because
hey, no, just listen, Victor. Listen to Dean.
this is
Dean's
what they said up there, though.
Victor. If you listen
This
to
is what the House said.
Victor, if you listen to Dean, Dean will say, well, hey, listen, undocumented immigrants cannot access nor qualify for federal systems of welfare benefits, including but not limited to Medicaid and Medicare, because we have about 4 or 5 different laws on the books that strictly prevent it. One of those laws, most notably being the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act of 1996, which strictly limits those benefits to only be given to legal residents and lawful citizens. Okay? Obviously, undocumented immigrants are not residents nor citizens, therefore, they're ineligible, legally speaking, in order to qualify for those benefits. All right? So, of course, when you hear Mr. Trump's puppet, right? Trump, the guy that lied 30,000 times confirmed in his first term, Trump, the guy that lied and told the largest lie that any sitting president has ever told with his denial of the outcome of the 2020 election, and then his puppet Mike Johnson that is currently breaking the law, right? Obstructing the swearing in of Adelita Grahova, who is, who's pledged to be the last and final vote to force the release of the Epstein files, right? And you listen to him contradict the laws on the books. You listen to him contradict what we know about reality, and you listen to him say nonsense, which, by the way, you can't find any evidence for. It becomes incredibly clear to any rational mind that I'm right and he's wrong. Now, you could prove that he's right and I'm wrong by merely disputing my argument, which is the fact that there's laws on the books that prevent Medicaid and Medicare from being given to undocumented immigrants, and proving with the use of evidence that the Democrats will have and want to spend $200 billion on undocumented immigrants.
So you're telling me that that's a lie? That's crazy to me. I understand that you said those laws and all that, but to me that just has been the whole argument. And hold on, I haven't heard any Democrats speaking about it other than people like you on TikTok.
Do you want to give evidence for his claim, or do you want to give evidence against mine? Because we're rational people here, Victor. We discuss things with evidence.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, so what's the evidence that we want to give like $200 billion to undocumented immigrants for healthcare? What's the evidence that like I'm wrong when I say that that's illegal per the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act? What's the evidence, buddy?
Well, I'm not saying I have evidence. What I said was that's what he said, and why I should believe you over him.
Okay, so you don't have any evidence.
So you're gonna tell me?
So I just want to clarify. What you're saying is that you don't have any evidence to believe that he's telling the truth.
I haven't looked into it, no.
Okay, so
because it's the party of common sense if you think about it.
So why do you believe him without any evidence? Are you just saying that you blindly believe anything a Republican says?
No, because everything Democrats say isn't real.
So I didn't ask you about Democrats. I asked you about Republicans. Do you blindly believe anything a Republican tells you?
Not anything, but I do believe that Democrats would do that because that is something that they would do.
So you're saying that you believe
like 100%. That's something that they would do.
So you believe it without evidence, right? I have a question.
Well, I know here in my state, California, they do receive free healthcare.
If you accept such a low standard of evidence, the standard of evidence that you accept being no evidence, as you said, you blindly follow and believe anything that MAGA says. Do you therefore also accept that Donald Trump raped E. Jean Carroll because there was enough evidence to convince a court?
I don't believe that. I mean, you're talking about $1 million man going after something like that. That's a joke.
Yeah. So
I mean, $1 billion man. My bad. $1 billion man.
When there's enough,
he had women throwing themselves at him, and he's gonna go after something like that. It's a joke.
So when there's enough evidence to convince a court and a unanimous jury of 9, you don't believe it. But when there's no evidence at all, per your own admission, you do believe it. See, I think that you're a casebook example of bias, okay? And tribalism in politics and dogmatism too, okay? Wow, you're a textbook example, okay? We learn about people like you, right, in social and political philosophy courses in college, okay? It's interesting because what you're telling me, right, is that when a claim is made that disputes the side you disagree with and confirms that the side you agree with are the ones on the right side of history, are the true and accurate, the common sense people, right? Then you accept it with no evidence and you blindly follow it. But when it disputes the party that you believe in, right, and reaffirms a party that you don't believe in, right, such as the court that found Donald Trump guilty of raping E. Jean Carroll, then you don't believe it, even though there's an insurmountable amount of evidence. Like, do you see the issue there? Do you see how that's obviously like bias, Victor?
I mean, put it this way. I'm going to say reality, right? I'm going to explain reality to you. But I'm from California, so I know things are different in California. But California is Democrat-ran state. Gavin Newsom.
Yes, yes. Saying Gavin
So
Newsom definitely addresses
3 years
my
ago, I
argument.
was working, an immigrant job.
I think he's leaving now. I wouldn't doubt it if he just left. Oh, he's back. Victor's not done. Victor? He's broken. We broke Victor. We actually broke Victor. Victor's like actually fucking broken right now. This is great. I have a question, Victor. Is your wife an undocumented immigrant? I think I broke his brain. He can't even like engage in like simple dialogue. Anyways, Jessica, thank you for the $5 on PayPal. He says Victor's the same guy who's been on lives talking about how his wife is undocumented and complaining about state subsidies he and his family benefit from. Huh. Well, yeah, his brain imploded and he left. So we're gonna move on to the next guest. Let's go ahead and keep imploding the brains of Trump supporters. I guess moving on right now, folks. We're gonna get that next guest loaded up in here right now, everybody.